So that was Napheesa Collier and Caitlin Clark hand-selecting their teams for the WNBA All-Star Game. Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches, and a lot of people think they know why.
Caitlin Clark just fired her All-Star coach on live television. And not just any coach. She sent Cheryl Reeve, the very woman who snubbed her from Team USA, straight to the sideline. No filter, no warning. Just straight up, thanks but no thanks. Clark didn't trade a player. She didn't ask for a substitution. She straight up swapped her coach like she was doing fantasy basketball. And the look on everyone's faces, priceless.
Now, when I was looking at the rules at the beginning, I was like, dang, they could trade? And I'm like, dang, who are they going to trade? I wouldn't trade anybody. And of course, Caitlin came up saying, I'm fine. I wouldn't trade anybody. But we can trade these coaches.
Start with you here, Caitlin. You said you might be aggressive on the trade market once this opened up.
I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Bee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Ooh.
It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa!
Let's get to it.
Now, let's be clear. This wasn't some random shuffle. Clark was assigned to Reeve, but instead of taking it like a rookie, she made a power move worthy of prime LeBron James, pulled off the kind of trade that had fans gasping and ESPN scrambling. And here's the part nobody saw coming. Clark didn't even try to hide it. On a live ESPN broadcast, while the cameras were rolling, Clark turned to Napheesa Collier and casually said, "I don't really care if this is in the rules. We're trading coaches." That's not just confidence, that's boss behavior. Forget all-star games. This felt like a courtroom drama, and Clark was both the judge and the jury. It was the first coach trade in WNBA All-Star history. Ever. Never been done before. But Caitlin Clark doesn't care about tradition. She cares about loyalty, respect, and not letting her biggest hater sit on her bench. Let's talk receipts. Reeve spent months minimizing Clark's impact, throwing shade on social media, saying the W is more than one player.
They traded their coaches, and a lot of people think they know why. Last year, Coach Cheryl Reeve had a few things to say about Caitlin Clark on Twitter. The Lynx game, wasn't going to be televised. There's a reason why it's not being shown, and someone else commented, and they said because they only care about Caitlin, and Cheryl Reeve tweeted, and she said that part. So also, it is good to note that Cheryl Reeve was the head coach of Team USA last year, and of course, they did not select Caitlin Clark.
While Clark was out here breaking records and lifting the entire league. And now, that same coach was about to sit courtside next to her and call plays? Yeah, no. Clark hit the eject button before the ball even tipped off. But this wasn't just personal, it was strategic. Clark didn't trade Reeve for some random assistant coach. She brought in Sandy Brondello, the New York Liberty's mastermind and back-to-back finals coach. In NBA terms, this is like trading Jim Boylan for Eric Spoelstra and expecting people not to notice. Sandy's been to the championship. Reeve, she's been busy subtweeting Clark. The choice was obvious. And Brondello's reaction? Her son texted her, "Mom, you just got traded."
The first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that.
And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up. I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
Even she couldn't believe it. That's the kind of vibe Clark wants. Fun, professional, and not dripping with jealousy. Cheryl Reeve may have coached Team USA, but Clark wasn't going to let the woman who left her off the roster pretend to root for her in front of a national audience. She picked her coach, just like she picked her team, on loyalty, on chemistry, and most importantly, on who didn't throw shade at her in the media. Let's not pretend this was random. Clark's been keeping receipts since day one. Remember that cryptic tweet from Cheryl Reeve during Clark's historic run? The one that said, "The W is more than one player"? Yeah, that wasn't just a passive-aggressive quote. That was a direct shot at Clark, while she was dragging TV ratings, jersey sales, and half the league's revenue on her back.
Tweets had everything to do with Caitlin Clark. She failed to tell you guys that she put the hashtag, the W is more than one player. And she's in her, a 50-something-year-old woman. Shame on her for that. That alone, just doing that alone, as if, the W is more than one player. Clearly, the one player is Caitlin Clark that she referred to when she typed that hashtag.
Clark didn't respond at the time. She didn't clap back. She let it simmer. But this all-star trade? That was the answer. She waited until the perfect moment, when the spotlight was hers, when the league couldn't ignore her, and then she made her move. That's not petty. That's calculated. That's prime Kobe Bryant-level vengeance with a smile. And the best part? She built a dream team while doing it. Clark didn't just cut out the toxicity. She surrounded herself with players who actually respect her, starting with Aaliyah Boston as her first overall pick. That's loyalty. That's sending a message. If you ride for me, I ride for you. Then she grabbed Kelsey Mitchell as her top reserve pick. That's the Indiana Fever backcourt reunited, powered up, and ready to cook. Add Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, Satu Sabali, and Gabby Williams. And you've got a roster that looks less like an all-star team and more like a Team USA revenge tour. But here's the twist. Clark didn't pick anyone who's ever shaded her. No rivals, no subtweeters, no accidental media quotes that magically downplay her impact. If you've ever come for Clark in the press, you didn't make the cut. Even Sonia Citron, someone Clark's played with before, got a spot. Why? Because Clark chose chemistry over clout. She built a team around trust, not drama. That's not just smart, it's surgical. Meanwhile, Cheryl Reeve was left scrambling. 1 minute, she's prepping for her all-star coaching gig. The next, she's booted, watching Sandy Brondello walk off with the W's biggest star. You could practically hear Reeve's pride cracking from across the arena. And the irony? Reeve is Nafisa Collier's head coach in Minnesota. So now she's back with her own player, but this time, without the superstar, she wanted to headline her redemption arc. She thought she could bury Clark with hashtags and coded language. Instead, she got benched by the very player she tried to minimize.
Oh my God, I cannot believe she just eviscerated and embarrassed Cheryl Reeve on national TV like that. Caitlin Clark ain't playing, bro.
Now this is where things get straight up hilarious, because Cheryl Reeve didn't just lose the job, she lost the narrative. She probably thought she could just coast into the All-Star game, sit next to Clark, smile for the cameras, and use her name to boost her profile. Pretend like everything was fine. But Clark made sure Reeve couldn't fake it for even one game. The woman who downplayed Clark's impact on the league got replaced by someone who actually knows how to win with stars. That's not just karma. That's a lesson in what happens when you underestimate a superstar with receipts. But Clark didn't just clean house, she upgraded. Sandy Brondello isn't just a coach, she's a tactician, a proven winner. She led the New York Liberty to back-to-back finals, managed egos, handled elite talent, and kept locker rooms focused. That's exactly the kind of coach Clark wants for this kind of showcase. And Brondello didn't bring any of that passive-aggressive weirdness. Her reaction to being traded? Pure class. Her teenage son texted her, "Mom, you just got traded," and she laughed. That's the kind of vibe Clark thrives in. Low drama, high basketball IQ. Meanwhile, Reeve was left on the other bench, staring across the court at the player she once kept off Team USA. Talk about awkward.
Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. I would have had to swallow so much pride I can't do that. Fee, she probably called in the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. You know what they're gonna be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please.
Let's take a second to appreciate the strategy. Clark isn't just playing the game, she's rewriting it. She didn't just draft stars, she drafted chemistry. She built a team that could actually win, not just flex individual names. She paired her court vision with Sabrina Ionescu's shooting, added Asia Wilson's paint dominance, and locked it all down with Aaliyah Boston's defense. That's not a lineup, that's a blueprint. Even off the court, she's stacking W's. No drama, no call-outs, just pure chess moves from a 22-year-old who already runs circles around half the league's decision-makers. And now, the whole WNBA has to deal with the fact that Clark isn't just a player, she's a power broker. She picks her coach, she builds her roster, She moves like she's got Pat Riley's mind and Diana Taurasi's killer instinct. While Reeve was planning her little PR comeback, Clark said, "Nah, we're done here." And she did it without breaking a sweat. Because when you're the one setting viewership records, selling out arenas, and putting the league on your back, you don't just get a seat at the table. You flip the whole thing. This wasn't just a trade, it was a declaration. Caitlin Clark didn't just remove a toxic coach. She showed the entire league what happens when you push the wrong star. She's done with fake smiles, backhanded compliments, and old-school politics. She's leading with facts, loyalty, and wins. Look at that all-star roster one more time. It's not just stacked, it's built like a dynasty.
Chose Aaliyah Boston first, which was no surprise, and then she went for Sabrina and then Asia. And a lot of fans were shocked that Asia fell to the 5th overall pick in the draft, but it seemed like both Caitlin and Fee were picking their friends and teammates first.
Lethal starting lineup, if I can say so myself. Fee, Stewart, Alicia Gray, Aneka Ogwumike, and Paige. Caitlin Clark actually has a complete roster to start her team. She's got Caitlin Clark at the 1, Sabrina Ionescu at the 2, Satou Sabali at the 3. She must have heard the chatter in the offseason of fans saying, let's get Satou Sabali. I'm just saying, she might have heard a thing or two.
Clark at point, running the floor like Chris Paul with a better jumper. Sabrina Ionescu at the 2, raining threes like Klay Thompson. Satou Sabali bringing length, speed, and international experience. Asia Wilson as the 3-time MVP anchor. And Aaliyah Boston locking down the paint. And off the bench, Kelsey Mitchell, Gabby Williams, Jackie Young, Sonia Citron, and more. Every position is loaded, every angle covered. But the real win? Clark chose respect over revenge. She didn't go on a press tour. She didn't drop quotes in interviews. She let her moves do the talking. She saw an opportunity to remove a coach who disrespected her and replaced her with someone who respects the game. That's not ego, that's leadership. Even the timing was savage. On national TV, during the All-Star Draft, with Cheryl Reeve probably rehearsing her "We're here to win together" speech, only to get traded like she was a bench player in Summer League. And if Reeve's still wondering why, she shouldn't be. She was the face of the Olympic snub, the queen of dismissive tweets, the coach who kept shifting attention away from the player, single-handedly saving the WNBA's ratings. Now she's on the sidelines, watching Clark work with a coach who's actually won something in the last decade. If that's not poetic justice, I don't know what is. Let's be honest, this wasn't a flex. This was a warning. Clark is no longer just a rookie with record-breaking stats. She's a second-year pro with power, with influence, with the vision to build a winning culture and the guts to demand it. This is bigger than one game, bigger than one coach. This was the moment Clark took full control of her narrative, showed the league she's not afraid to cut ties, and proved that loyalty, respect, and elite talent can exist on the same court. She's not here to play nice, she's here to win. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more fearless moments like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Thank you.